What if I told you the apocalypse isn't coming? That it's not about prophecies or demons from another dimension? What if the apocalypse is just a really, really bad family Thanksgiving dinner, and we're all just living on the collateral damage? That, right there, is the secret to understanding Chainsaw Man's most terrifying villains. Because today, we're not just investigating four devils. We're running a full psychological profile on the most powerful, messed up family in the universe, the Four Horsemen.
Welcome back to the Anime Bureau, agents. Today, we're taking on our most ambitious case yet. We're going to prove that Tatsuki Fujimoto's greatest trick wasn't creating terrifying devils. It was disguising the world's most relatable family drama as a horror story. We're talking about a controlling older sister, an angry middle child desperate for attention, a quiet younger sibling caught in the crossfire, and the eldest, depressed goth sister, whose personal crisis is about to become everyone's problem. And the source of all their drama, the family's one toxic ex-boyfriend, the Chainsaw Man. This is our thematic core for today. The horrors of Chainsaw Man aren't supernatural, they're domestic. It's a story about how unresolved family trauma, when given apocalyptic power, can threaten to unmake the world. So buckle up, this is going to get personal. Now, for any new agents in the room, let's get you fully briefed. The world of Chainsaw Man runs on a simple, terrifying logic. Fear is power. The more something is feared by humanity, the more powerful the devil representing that fear becomes. The Four Horsemen are four of these immensely powerful devils, their strength second only to the Primal Fears. They are conquest, war, famine, and death. But before we dive into Fujimoto's creations, we have to understand the source code he was hacking. The original Four Horsemen come from the Bible's Book of Revelation, chapter 6. As four seals are broken, four riders are summoned. A white rider of conquest, a red rider of war, a black rider of famine, and a pale rider of death. They are impersonal forces of divine judgment. Fujimoto takes this blueprint and flips it on its head. He keeps the sequence: conquest, then war, then famine, then death. But he replaces the divine judgment with deeply human, psychological flaws. With that dossier in mind, let's meet the family.
Every family has one. Let's start with the terrifyingly competent, manipulative older sister who is absolutely convinced she knows what's best for everyone, whether they like it or not. Meet Makima, the white rider of conquest, the control devil. And honestly, the way she operates hits a little too close to home for some of us, right? She finds Denji at his absolute lowest and immediately starts the love bombing. Food, shelter, affection, it's all there. But the price tag is his soul. He has to be her dog. She represents that seductive, terrifying form of control that masks itself as love. It's the voice that says, "I'm only doing this for your own good," while systematically isolating you from everyone else. Her powers are a direct reflection of this twisted materialism. Her primary ability, domination, lets her control anyone she perceives as inferior. It's a power fueled by her own unshakable sociopathic narcissism. Then there's her infamous immortality contract with the Prime Minister of Japan. Any attack on her is transferred as an illness or accident to a random citizen. That's not just a power-up, it's a thematic statement. The state is literally sacrificing its own people to keep its instrument of control alive. Her offensive power is just as insidious. She can perform a ritual using a chain of human sacrifices to remotely crush a target from miles away, or simply point her finger and say, bang, to unleash a devastating, invisible force. But for me, the scariest part about Makima wasn't her power, it was her goal. She wanted to use Chainsaw Man's erasure ability to create a better world by eliminating concepts she disliked, a world without suffering. Because it's a world without choice. It's the ultimate authoritarian nightmare dressed up as a utopia. Next up, we have the classic middle child, Yoru, the Red Rider of Strife, the War Devil. And if Makima was terrifyingly competent, Yoru is, well, She's a bit of a mess, isn't she? When we meet her, she's a shadow of her former self. Why? Because in that ancient family feud, her sister's ex, Pochita, literally ate the nuclear weapons devil and the World War II devil. He erased the greatest hits of human conflict from memory, and in doing so, starved her of her power. It's an incredible concept. The war devil is weak because people have forgotten how to be truly, apocalyptically afraid of war. So now she's stuck sharing a body with a high school student, Asa Mitaka, constantly bickering for control. It's less apocalyptic Horseman and more supernatural odd couple sitcom. But her power is where things get interesting. She can turn anything Asa feels guilty about owning into a weapon. And the more guilt, the stronger the weapon. When Asa feels immense guilt for sacrificing her school's aquarium to save Denji, Yoru creates the incredibly powerful Aquarium Spear. This is genius. Fujimoto has intrinsically linked the act of war-making to psychological cost. You want a powerful sword? You have to feel the crushing weight of what you're sacrificing to create it. It's not about glory, it's about trauma. Her whole motivation is to get Chainsaw Man to vomit back up nukes to make war scary again. She's a concept fighting for its own relevance, a terrifying symbol of how violence needs to constantly remind us of its horror to stay powerful. It's no wonder fans have pointed out the chilling resemblance of her facial scars to the logo of Lockheed Martin, the world's largest weapons manufacturer. The line between the devil of war and the business of war is terrifyingly thin. And this is where the family dynamics get even more twisted. For most of Part 2, Fujimoto pulls a masterstroke of misdirection. We meet two new sisters. One is a quiet, nervous wreck. The other is a gluttonous, manipulative mastermind. We're led to believe the manipulator is the main threat, and the wreck is a footnote. It was a lie, a classic family deception. The manipulative mastermind is indeed Fami, the famine devil. She is the youngest sibling, the one caught in the crossfire, a victim of her own family's toxicity. She embodies hunger, but she's been starved of her own agency. Her power is to control anyone who is starving, not just for food, but for purpose, for love, for recognition. It's a terrifyingly modern concept. It's the engine of consumer culture, of political extremism, of every system that preys on our deepest desires. But in the story, she's a footnote, a pawn in her older sister's game. Because the true mastermind, the one pulling even Fami's strings, is theorized to be the eldest sister all along. The Pale Rider, the depressed goth sibling whose personal crisis is about to destroy the world. The Death Devil. And her motivation? It's the most tragic family drama of all. She's a primal fear, one of the strongest beings in existence, yet she's trapped in an immortal existence she cannot stand. She's even hollowed out her own torso in a failed suicide attempt. Her entire world-ending prophecy is an absurdly elaborate cosmic-scale suicide note. She orchestrates global chaos, summons other primal fears like the Falling Devil, and manipulates her own sisters, all to get the attention of the one person who can give her what she wants, the family ex, Chainsaw Man. He's the only one who can grant her the mercy of being completely erased from existence. Her apocalypse isn't an act of malice, it's a cry for help.
To understand this family, you have to understand their history with the man who broke them apart. Long before our story begins, a legendary war was fought in Hell. It was the Four Horsemen and their allies against one being, Pochita, the hero of Hell. And they lost. Badly. But Chainsaw Man didn't just defeat them. He did something worse. He started eating devils, and when he eats a devil, its very concept is erased from reality. He didn't just win the war, he rewrote history. Now, his power doesn't come from the fear of chainsaws. Let's be real, that's a pretty niche fear. His power comes from the fear he instills in other devils. For them, death is just a revolving door between earth and hell. But being eaten by Chainsaw Man? That's oblivion. True death. That's why he's the devil. That devils fear most. This is the source of all their trauma. He's not just their common enemy. He's the potential solution to all their problems. Makima wanted to control him to build her perfect, loveless world. Yoru needs him to reverse the erasure that made her weak and irrelevant. And Death needs him to perform the one act she can't, to eat her and give her the sweet release of oblivion. He is the unwilling, chaotic god of their world, and their entire conflict is a violent, manipulative struggle to force him to give them what they want.
So let's step back. Look at this beautiful, horrifying mess. This isn't a coalition of villains, it's a family portrait. You have the controlling narcissist, the angry forgotten child, the victimized youngest, and the suicidal eldest, all locked in a toxic dance around the one man who affected them all so deeply. This brings us back to our thematic core. The Four Horsemen aren't evil incarnate, they are a mirror. Makima reflects our society's willingness to trade freedom for security. Yoru reflects our morbid fascination with conflict and the systems that profit from it. Famine reflects the spiritual emptiness of a world built on endless, manufactured desire. And death. Death reflects our ultimate existential fear of a meaningless, unending existence. The grand deduction of this bureau is that Chainsaw Man is not a story about devils versus humans. It's a domestic drama with a global body count. It's a story about how the cycles of trauma and abuse, when left unchecked, can spiral out into something world-ending. The horror isn't that monsters exist. The horror is that they are so much like us. And that's why I love this story. It's got the blood and the guts and the epic fights, but at its heart, it's about something real. It's about connection and the lack of it. It's what we try to do here at the Bureau. Find the human story inside the fantastic. If you feel the same way, if you want to be part of a community that's not just consuming stories but truly understanding them, then I'd personally love for you to join our agency. Hitting that subscribe button is like signing your official papers, and giving this video a like tells me that these deep dives are the kind of cases you want us to keep taking on. It helps more than you know. But the case isn't closed, because there's one last piece of this family puzzle: Nayuta, the reincarnated control devil, now being raised by Denji. She's the ultimate test of this story's fragile heart. She is what fans call a glass cannon, possessing Makima's immense conceptual power, but lacking the immortality contract, making her physically vulnerable. Can nurture overcome a nature as terrifying as Makima's? Her fate is everything. Her apparent death at the hands of the Chainsaw Man Church was a devastating blow, but with the Death Devil's manipulations, nothing is certain. If she's gone for good, it signals a dark, nihilistic end. If she returns, it reaffirms the series' fragile message of hope. So that's your assignment, agents. What is Nayuta's role in the endgame? Is she the final victim, the secret weapon, or the one who will ultimately save them all? Drop your best psychological profiles in the evidence locker below. The Bureau is always watching.